stream, might as well tell us. What the fuck? Oh, my stream died there for a second. It's back up, but holy crap, the bitrate. About ready to tell a leaf blower story. What the heck? Well, let's see what happens. So, years and years and years ago, I think I was like 12? Maybe 12 years old. I was watching someone, like, in a park or whatever. I guess it was like the maintenance for the park, doing leaf blowing and stuff, right? Oh. Well, it looks like I have 2 streams now to upload, because the 10 minutes just left. What the fuck? Let me refresh the stream. This is annoying. I'm paying for really good internet, too. It's just gotta be my computer is horrible. Do. And now there's no time going. What the hell? I'm still streaming technically. Let me just close this. Why is there no time going? The hell? Am I actually streaming? It says I'm streaming. The fuck? Okay, so I am streaming. Why does the internet want to be like this? That's annoying. I'll keep the picture off. Just gotta have to look at the endless void. So, yeah, I guess this stream's gonna be very short. I'll just finish this story. Actually, no, now there's 3 viewers. I'll update you, and then I'll tell the story, and then I'll stop stream. So, the update is, I was gonna do Undertale today. A fire alarm thing went off at the apartment. It was the first time in a long time where I've been woken up dead from sleep and was so terrified, like screaming uncontrollably and I'm normally not the type of person to get afraid like that, that the adrenaline got pumping to the point where I'm sick and I don't feel like I can play a game right now. But this coming Thursday, at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and in fact, I will make a note of this so I can remember. Thursday, day 4 p.m. EST, Undertale long stream. There. I wrote it with green ink for some reason. I just grabbed the first pen I saw, and it had green ink. So yeah, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am either going to finish Undertale or just do a really long stream until the point where I can save and leave. And tomorrow's stream, so like literally tomorrow. I don't know why I specified what the heck. Sorry, adrenaline's pumping still a little bit. Tomorrow's stream is going to be a test stream to see if I could, well, first of all, make it not cancel like it just did. Oh, yeah. And also a few other things I want to test out. So, yeah. Now I'm going to tell the leaf blower story, and maybe one other story. So, way back in the day when I was like 12 years old, I think, I could be wrong, I was at a park and I was watching someone, leaf blowing. I think it was like the maintenance people or whatever. And of course there were some dogs that ran up to the person and like wanted to play. So the guy with the leaf blower was like blowing the leaves at the dogs, and the dogs are like trying to catch the air and trying to catch the leaves and stuff. But what I was reminded of when Gideon mentioned leaf blowers is I saw a raccoon jump out of a tree onto the leaf blower. And I'm like, what the? Like, I've never seen that before in my life. All of a sudden, Gideon reminded me of that with the leaf blower. And the guy who was leaf blowing, like, the raccoon jumped off the tree, because he was, like, right next to a tree, jumped off the tree, landed on the leaf blower. The guy picked up the leaf blower, looked at the raccoon looked at him. He bonked it on the nose, and the raccoon, like, played dead, like it fell off the leaf blower onto its back, with its, like, legs up, like it was dead. And I was thinking, is this, like, this guy's pet or something? Like, what the heck's going on? And then he just shrugged his shoulders and walked away, didn't finish his job, went to his truck and left. The raccoon was still on its back, so I thought, uh-oh, is it dead? And then the dogs were, like, sniffing it. And then I walked up to it, and as soon as I got close, it, like, freaked the fuck out and ran away. I'm like, the heck? And then, and then after that, the next day, I go back to the same park, and I see probably the same raccoon. I could be wrong, but the guy's finishing the leaf blowing. And so I, like, walk up to him. Keep in mind, I'm like a 12-year-old, right? And I walk up to him, and I ask him, like, what happened? Like, this raccoon... And he goes, yeah, that's Dave. Dave is crazy. I'm like, you have a name for the raccoon? Because, yeah, he likes to jump on there. He used to attack it. Now he just lays on it. And I boop him on the nose. And then he lays down. I'm like, okay. I've never seen that before until, like, that day. And I've never seen it since. It was just a weird, odd thing that I guess happens at that park. And Gideon reminded me of it when they said leaf blower. And I'm like, oh. So thanks for that flash of memory, Gideon. It's still like one of the weirdest stories and one of the weirdest, like, occurrences that's happened. I've had many weird things happen to me, but whenever I think of, like, the autumn time or leaf blowers back in the day, but now I rarely think about that story. When I used to think about that story and I would tell people...
I feel like I've heard of stuff like that online a lot.
Yeah. Back in the day, when I used to tell people that happened, no one would believe me. And I would literally, like, because from school, I would take kids to that park. Like, after school, I would invite them over. And we would go there. And I would point it out. And even though the maintenance guy who was occasionally there... and I would get the kids to ask him about it, and he would confirm it, they were still like, nah, it doesn't happen. But yeah, it's just like one of those things where you had to be there to see it. But my curiosity is how many people have actually seen that? So I highly doubt I'm the only one. I mean, there was many people at the park at that time. Which, by the way, back then when I was 12, that park was popping off. Like, there was a lot of people. Nowadays, whenever I go back to that town and, like, look at that park or whatever, there's, like, hardly anyone there. But it's still, like, one of the weirdest things ever. Oh, excuse me. Well, I guess I'm going to have this be a short...
Most of my weird stories, I think, involve me being the weird one.
Oh, I have... I'm trying to think how many stories I have that involve me being the weird one. Probably a handful. But most of my weird stories are me encountering something. I'm like, what the heck? Rather than me being the weird one. But there's still like a handful of that.
You ever wonder how many people have stories about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that.
Strangers.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that. Because I like the idea of, like, some people being like, wow, there was this weird obese kid back in the day who was just a dumb shit. Because I remember overhearing a couple talk about a kid they encountered years ago, and I kept on thinking it was me, but then they said it was in Texas, so I'm like, oh, I've never been in Texas. But it sounded a lot like me. So yeah, that is an interesting thought. How many people have stories specifically about you? That would be a fun thing to... That would be fun to look into. Like, if you could, like, ask people around the areas you've lived about weird stories that they have, and then listen into detail to see if they mention anything about you. I'm trying to think if I want to stop, because I'm kind of having fun with this, but at the same time, I'm still feeling a little weird. Maybe one more story. I'm trying to think what would be a good story, because I have, like, a lot, and I don't know what I've said, like, in, like, previous Let's Plays that weren't streams, or, like, actual streams. See if I can think of something I haven't mentioned before. I still gotta do that RuneScape stream where I mentioned fun stories from the past. I'm also trying to think of stories that won't, like, dox me, because it's like, oh yeah, at this place. I'm like, crap, that's very specific. Let's see. Let me think. Oh, well, I think everyone likes fishing stories. Or at least everyone's heard of, like, fishing stories. So, years ago, back when my dad was still alive, and let's see. You know what? I can't remember if I was younger, like, younger than 12. So I think I was like, yeah, I think I might have been 10 when this happened. Because I think I was still like, wow, I'm in the 2 digits or something like that. But I could be misremembering. But anyways, went fishing with my dad and my mom. She didn't do any fishing. She would stay in the car or, like, read a book or something. And we're at this area we've been to a few times. And he had caught a big fish there before, so that's why we would go back there. And we had both caught, like, a really big fish. I want to say, like, maybe... I think mine was 10 inches and his was 11. So he had, like, a slightly bigger one than mine. But they were still pretty big fish. It was, like, the biggest we had caught. And it really, like, a tough fight to reel them in. Well, it started to rain, and it rained heavy, and there was thunder and lightning. So we had to leave after catching these 2, like, really massive fish, right? Well, he forgot his pole, and he went to grab his pole, and he had realized that something had caught it, so he tried to reel it in during the thunder and lightning, and it had to have been a really huge fish, because it was the biggest fight he had ever had. Keep in mind, my dad grew up in Florida, and basically did fishing for, like, money, and would, like, catch fish and scuba dive for fish to sell them at, like, fish markets and stuff. And he had caught a huge fish before back in Florida. Like, I'm talking about bigger than, like, 15 inches, probably. Well, this fish that he had on the reel, he could not for the life of him reel it in, and it was the first time ever that the reel had snapped. Like, the line had snapped, right? So he's like, fuck it, okay, it snapped, we gotta leave. We left. Years and years later, like, way after my dad had died and stuff, I was reading an article of the town where this took place, right? And I was reading that a guy caught an 18-inch fish. I think it was bass, but don't quote me. Huge fish, right? and he said it had 5 hooks and lines in its mouth, and the reason he was able to catch it was because it was weak and dying. So I wonder, because it was around the same time that my dad and I would have gone fishing. So I'm curious if that fish that had like 5 hooks and lines like coming out of its mouth from like previous snaps, I wonder if that was the same fish, and I wonder if that was like the 5th hook, like my dad was the last one to do it before that guy caught it, or if it was just complete coincidence that happened. But yeah, that was a fun day, especially with the rain, because it came out of nowhere. Like, where we were looking, the sky was clear, but behind us, it was very, very dark, and then I all of a sudden noticed that. I'm like, oh, that's not good. But there's also the chance that it could have been all a coincidence. Because I couldn't recall the exact time we went fishing, so it could have been like, oh yeah, this guy caught a fish a year or two after, or even a year before my actual fishing trip. But I'm pretty certain it was around the same time. Hey, I've noticed there's this new guest star thing. I haven't read into it yet, but hopefully it's a good thing. Keyword hopefully. Because I know they have those, was it the equivalent of like super chats on here now, but they show up like underneath the stream. And every streamer I know is basically saying it's a scam. Like, you really shouldn't do it because the streamer's not going to notice it. Like, if you want your message to be read out by the streamer, if you do that, whatever the heck it's called, they're not going to read it because it just does. It goes by too quick. It's in an inconvenient spot. So I'm hoping that this thing right here is actually a good feature. Because I know Twitch is releasing a bunch of new features. I don't know what the exact plan is, but I know they're trying to make their platform better. Because even though Twitch is the #1 streaming service, YouTube is catching up pretty well, and there's no doubt that YouTube will eventually be the main place people go, because Twitch is already losing a lot of streamers to YouTube. Because even though Twitch has the better features, and it's easier to get noticed on Twitch, YouTube is just the bigger platform, and also they're making it better to stream there. And also the price cut is better. YouTube only takes 30% what you make. Twitch is now taking 50%. And they're making it so that, like, oh yeah, we're taking 50%, but you can have ads run, which are like 4-minute unskippable things that I don't even think ad blocks. You have to be like a paid subscriber or something. No, I think even subscribers get ads. So yeah, that's unfortunate with Twitch. Hopefully they realize their mistake and go back to like the whole 30% thing and get rid of that feature. But I don't know. I think Twitch is determined to sabotage itself. So, because keep in mind, a lot of the big name Twitch streamers are either going to YouTube because they're getting better deals, or it's because Twitch has like implemented just like horrible features where they're like, crap, I don't care, I'm going to YouTube. Some people are also streaming on both platforms. Like one day they'll stream YouTube, and one day they'll stream Twitch. I don't think I'm going to stream on YouTube unless they make it nearly, not necessarily identical, but close enough to Twitch. I still like the whole stream on Twitch, upload the VOD to YouTube. I like that. I think that works best for me. I still will make stuff exclusive for YouTube. I just haven't done it yet. Well, I haven't done it in a long time. But I am a little concerned about Twitch. Because imagine if somehow, some way, I start popping off on Twitch, right? And I start getting like from 2 views to like 800 views, right? And like from 14 followers to like 2,000 or whatever. And I get to the point where I can actually have subscriptions because I'm not on their partner program or whatever it is where you can actually start making money. I would like that if I get to that point, I would be able to keep streaming on Twitch. But from a lot I've seen from Twitch, I might have to start going on YouTube if I get to that point. But I mean, for now, as long as I'm not making money, Twitch is good. And I prefer it to YouTube, although I haven't tried streaming on YouTube yet. Most of my content I watch is on YouTube anyways. But I'm just really hoping that a lot of the issues Twitch is having, they fix. Because this is a good place. This is a good platform. It's easier to discover people here. Anyways, that's just my little rant. You know what? I'm going to end the stream here and start uploading my VODs as soon as I can. See you all tomorrow at around 2 p.m. where I test out some stuff on Twitch. And then Thursday it'll either be 4 p.m. or I might decide to stream earlier at 2 so I can get more time in. So keep an eye out. But the plan is 4 p.m. for Thursday. So until then, this has been the Michael Cage. Stop and stream.